couldn't match them. However, we tried to do well in the second half, and unfortunately we couldn't.
Thank you, coach.
Thank you very much, it's a pleasure.
Coach of Safa of BW Vilagazi. Well, we are of course gearing up for that big final between FC Spartak and Orlando Pirates. FC Spartak come into this one having edged Safa Gauteng, while Ezimnyama Ngenkani defeated the reigning champions Club Brugge. On your World of Champions and commentary team will have Temba Business alongside Mutlukhele Nkininda for the 2019 Future Champions Gauteng final.
Over 1,000 minutes of youth international football. 12 teams converge to the southwestern townships in search of gold at the start of the week. First it was 8-8 turned into 4 and 4 turned into 2. The man from the capital of Russia, Moscow, collide with the Princes of Soweto. The fans await. Anticipation plenty. Russian might up against South African flair. The 2019 future champions Gauteng between Ezemnyama Ngenkani against the People's Team from Russia. So the Warriors step out onto this Nike Centre AstroTurf. Friendships are going to be broken. Grudges are going to be made. The two foes know each other well, playing 3 times over the course of the last couple of years. In 2017, it was Pirates who won a 4-2 in the 7th and 6th place playoff, while last year the Russians avenged their defeat, as I said, from Russia with love in the 2-1 victory. Spartak Moscow finishing among the top 4 rated sides in the 2018 edition. Pirates 2 places below them in 6th. As the players taking the last moments, building up to what is to be an historic event, and probably a memorable event for these youngsters that will live long in their memories. History beckons for both teams. They chase the maiden future champs title. As we are nearing almost going to pit sides just for the formalities, some of the officials are here today. Are the likes of Mr. Job Mkunu of Safa Gauteng, Mr. Pilasende Moveni, the Director of Competitive Sport Gauteng in the provincial government, and Mr. or Mrs. Noni Kubeka, the head of Convention and Events Bureau, Gauteng Tourism Authority. Mr. Phil Mokhodi as well, future champions Gauteng Technical Director, Mr. Antonio Barabas is at the back there, La Liga Africa Managing Director, as well as Professor Ronnie Scholz, PSL Chief Operating Officer, as well as some of the big dignitaries that is passing on, I'm sure, messages of well wishes to both sets of players. This auspicious occasion, Azola Chobeni with a rueful little smile towering over him as one of the officials there, looking like he's a school teacher, just telling him, don't forget to do your homework, son. Nonetheless, Pirates, you would think, would have done their homework, would have studied closely their opponents. The Russians have been absolutely superb. Don't know how good the Russian and the English is, that instance. A bit of a, here we go, a clash of culture there. You don't know you're supposed to go left first. Oh, you gotta love it. That's an small little indication of the difference between the two sides. Being introduced to a bit of South African culture, starting off with a handshake. You see the Professor Ronnie Scholz, the PSL Chief Operating Officer. As we go downstairs for the respective national anthems of Russia and the Republic of South Africa.
As we await the national anthem of Russia. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Spartak Moscow, Russia. And there's the South African national anthem. Well,
First it was the state anthem of the Russian Federation, and then it was Nkosi Sigelela e Africa. My word, too polarizing, too contrasting, polar opposites of footballing philosophy. Well, we start off with the Russians first. One change for coach Vladislav Venčiković in midfield for that, as Mutalev comes in. Look out for his strong runs from the left-hand side. The back four of Kromin, Glotman, doubly stopped. And Samaf will be looking to protect Pavel Poreshkin. While the midfielders Rabanov, Melkinov, and Leshankov. Look out for Vlad Shitov. He's a powerful, very creative, and an eye for goal type of striker.
Vlad Shitov, a player to look out for, especially in the front line. Go to the Orlando Pirates squad. Begitele is teaming up with Azola Tobeni. We know very well the distribution of passes when it comes to Azola Tobeni. Katleho Toteti would have a lot to do on the right-hand side this time around, and Blake Franzen needs to step up again. He's done very well this past two games, so he's definitely going to want to close it with a bang. This team will be representing South Africa.
Well, a South African team being coached by Zimbabwean. In the form of Simon Maringo's made the one change, as you mentioned, Mo. Kabelo Mapakisa thrust him back into the match day 11. Was a sub in yesterday's dramatic semi-final penalty shootout against Spartak. As the two contingents of coaches shaking hands. It's Vladislav Venčiković versus Simon Maringe. It's Chobeni versus Levchikov. Radio Pani versus Shitov. Poreshkin versus Frazen. So many individual battles developing just even before we've kicked the ball. Yes, Mnyamang and Kani. The fans are plenty, have traveled from all parts of Gauteng just to witness this potentially historic moment for one of these two teams, as the two towers tower over us in the background. Who will tower over the opposition when the dust settles in Soweto? Pirates get us on the way in the 2019 future champions Gauteng final. The Blacks keepers attacking from right to left in a black strip with a touch of white, while for the Russians, Spartak Moscow from left to right in red and a touch of white as well in commentary. Allow me to welcome all the viewers tuned in to this live broadcast. It's Mr. Sugar alongside the hard-working Big Mutlukaleng. I'm very excited. Yet another year we get to take in a future champions Gauteng final. So what a couple of days it's been, and it's all coming down to a head. As quick as it started, it's all finishing. Is it going to be Russian might or South African flair for you?
No. We need to calm down. You've been pushing and pumping, Mr. Business.
I'm pumped.
Temper. Yeah, I see your goosebumps have got goosebumps. So now, this is a game we've all been waiting for. Both teams have put in the work. Orlando Pirates did very well. We did predict it earlier on. Now, the Russian side, FC Spartak Moscow, would want to fly away with the trophy. But then they're playing against Orlando Pirates, who are at home as far as Soweto is concerned.
Yeah, if you look at their records against each other over the past couple of years, they've played each other thrice. Spartak most recently lost out in 2017, a 4-2 loss, and then avenged it with a 2-1 victory against Pirates in 2018. 2019 will get bragging rights, almost became the Russians, but Nikita Kreutmann, an unmarked Kreutmann, was offside. The first real sighted goal in the game will fall to the Russians. Mo,
Forever testing the keeper. Don't take that away from him. If he gets room, he takes a shot at goal, takes a strike. A very decent chance taker, a gambler. Somehow he converts his chances that it takes.
now, if you look at how well these two teams progressed out of their respective groups, very difficult groups at that. You look at Spartak Moscow in Group B. At one point, Wits looked as if they would get automatic qualification after an opening day win and a draw after that. Spartak, although able to just get over the line in the second day before we hit the semis, which saw them get to the top of the summit of Group B. While for Pirates, they cruised in the Group C with 6 points from 3 games, losing once, which a game which had very little consequence in the end for them because they knew they already had won. We look forward, the Russians swarming quickly. It's Stepan Melnikov. They hit their target up front in a form of Aslan Motilev. Cross it over Blake Fraser's head. What heroics Blake Fraser pulled off yesterday. Yes, he only saved 1 penalty, but it was his gamesmanship, his ability to get into his opposition's head. Intimidation, the English call it. Yeah. Remember him yesterday saying, "It's my house, it's my house." Every time a Club Brugge player looked to place the penalty on the penalty spot.
And the mother said, "That's my boy."
That's my boy, yeah. Well, will his boy, will her boy become a man today? We'll find out. Will he be a future champions Gauteng medal holder? Early on, you look at how the Russian coach has set them up a back 4 with 3 in midfield and 3 up front, a formation that they've often employed throughout the tournament. While Pirates didn't start off with a back 3 initially, but I think as Simon Maringe as went on in the tournament, started to notice perhaps a back 3 suits the sort of personnel he has out there. Ralongwane Sekgotlong, the center of that defense, Chobeni at the base of midfield, and Buitumela Radopane leading the line. Yet to score in the tournament, Radopane, the 17 international. Now, it's Sototo to the danger man. If anybody is to unlock this Russian defense, it is to be the Valborn player, Katleho Tsoteti. He dons the number 23 jersey, if you've never seen him. The Russians look forward. Nelson Ralenkwane should deal with that, which he does. He falls fortuitously to Tsoteti, who gives it to Azola Chobeni, who can find a pass and spot one. He releases Pamandam Cezana. Nerves perhaps from Cezana. He had already thought of what he wanted to do before he even did it. It's Nelson Ralenkwane. It's Oteti. There's two players converging on him. Oh! Leashes a vicious strike that nestles on the top of the roof of Pavel Bereshkin's goals, Mo.
Really?
Good signs we're getting here.
Already sending signs that watch out. I'm here to terrorize you, boys. Oh, the power on it, the direction on it. Just off target, sending a clear message that if you don't close down on me early, that is Vladimir Kromin. He needs to close tight on him. He's a pacey player, decisive player.
Yeah, I think if you look at some of the key battles, the main man for these two teams, Vlad Shitov, jersey 29 for Spartak Moscow. He's their go-to guy, got a goal against in case the Chiefs, arguably the goal of the tournament, a solo run, beating 3 players and then putting it past the keeper. He'll be up against the attacking talent of Katao Tsoteti, who's the go-to man for Orlando Pirates. A ball is floated in as referee easily spots offside there. When you look in midfield, it's Levchenkov against Azola Chobeni. In defense, Ralengwane and Totulio Stov. Borishkin and Fraser in between the sticks. So many little individual battles. Who will perform to their peak, to their potential? And the pressure's on.
Now, you look at the backline of FC Spartak Moscow, nothing much has changed because they've been consistent throughout the beginning of the tournament. A bit of a rotation here and there, but nothing to bother them that much.
Now looking to bother them is Msezana. Spamanda Msezana allowed to cut in. The shot though going wide. Did it take a touch of a Russian player? The answer is no.
He needs to be alert all the time. Pavel Boryskin.
Chubeni wins a header. Don't often find yourself saying that. The diminutive Azola Chubeni. Good pass on the sides. Was the movement of Buitumela Radiopani. His touch forces the Russian defense to find an answer. Pirates have a corner for their troubles. Nice, even, balanced start to this final. Expectant Soweto crowd. Can the South Africans do the unthinkable and win? First ever future champions Gauteng trophy. Or will the Russians do the same? Take bragging rights all the way back to the cosmopolitan capital of Moscow. That's an interesting one. That's a signal to his teammates, I'm sure something they would have worked on. We will normally see that before the game, not during it. Again, he signals to
I'll tell you something about the signals later. Now, remember, you're playing against a team that is from Russia, so signals is their thing. Pirates had to change the way they signal.
And not just speak Zulu. Oh, the ball is definitely whipped in. The Russian defense hesitant as the ball fizzed past the front post as all the players congregated there. No one wanted or seemed to think of making a back post run from a Pirates perspective. Well, for Moscow, they breathe a collective sigh of relief.
So the sign meant Siaba Pambanis. Confuse the enemy, mislead them.
I'll ask you again, why not just speak Zulu? I doubt if the Russians can speak Zulu.
No, they far from the 18 yards to the corner. Can't be shouting that.
They still wouldn't hear you even if you shouted. My point. It's Kumete. Cleared by Pekit Kyle, not the police minister, but rather the Pirates player who's looking to break into Coach Micho's first team in the future. Pekit Kyle out of the East Rand. Ntsakane, 17 years young now. In his last year of the future champs involvement alongside Buitumelo Radiopani is Pamandla Msezana, Katao Tsoteti as well, Boikanyo Sukhotlong, Another player who's 17. Next year will miss out, giving a chance to the next crop of players. Young players as well who are still eligible next year, more the likes of Kabelo Mofokeng, who's only 16 years old. A touch there from Levchenkov. Gives it to Aslan Monteliev, who's quickly closed down by Pirates. I think they know the threat that Monteliev possesses more. Hence they swarmed around him. Now the Russians on the move. The ball seemed to have gone out there for Gazetebab.
Kozadub. Now, my concern is that Pirates are exhausting their chances up front. They're getting in the thick of things. They're pressing high up. You're playing against a team that is very smart tactically. They'll probably watch you guys do your thing in the first half. Come the second half, it'll be Russia's chance to go on a counter. Fitness-wise, can Orlando Pirates last until the 60th minute with the pace that they've started with? So we're yet to see what the presence of mind has in store for them.
Here's a question for you. Given the dramatic nature of yesterday's semi-final between Club Brugge and Orlando Pirates, the way it ended, how do you think Pirates are emotionally? Because it was draining for them. Well, for the Russians, it was an easy job against Safa Gauteng. Very manful, workmanlike, no drama whatsoever. So which of these two teams, my question is, would be in a better mental state?
I would say both. Russia sailed through with a decent win, so preparation mentally was not really too much for them. As far as Orlando Pirates is concerned, they couldn't convert their chances. They haven't scored or won a game in the past two games they've played in the cup. They lost their third game against Espanyol. They came through, they won through penalties on this match to qualify to this match.
It's far too much from Toteti. Allowed to just go over for a goal kick from Pavel Boreskin. Then winning is a habit, so is losing. And they showed yesterday they struggled a bit against the Club Brugge.
So now
they turned the trend. Via hook or crook, they won via penalties and find themselves contesting for a final. Anything can happen in a final, we both know.
Yep. I mean, it's the last hurdle. I had a conversation in a previous game with my colleague Grant Bissett. He also highlighted the two things that these two teams, the very same Orlando Pirates, hasn't won any game in the past two games that they've played. It'll factor in terms of them coming into this game. The question that I also asked us is that, are they going to last the 60th minute? Throughout the 60th minute, are they going to be able to score a goal? We wait to see. These are young boys. Could have been something different done in the change room, in the hotel. You know, recover, regenerate, bring the mindset back into the winning mentality.
Touch there from Rabadunov. Only has minuscule amount of options forward, and it showed. That attempted pass really had to be pinpoint and perfect, precise if he was to find the options moving forward, which were only two of them in red. Strong header coming from midfield, dealt with by the Rustenburg-born Buikanyo Sekhotlong. Rabadunov has had a few touches for the ball as the Russians look to get the groove or get into their work. While in Paris' half, Mutsoteti, Radiopane, always a willing runner. Radiopane now says, come, let's go, against Nikita Gloidman. And the Russian centre-back, the lanky Russian centre-back, strode well, stride by stride, and kept a pace with the pace of Radiopane.
Does he have the legs to run the 60th minute against the centre-backs? Cut back maybe, pass your teammates.
He's done a lot of running in this tournament, I can tell you. Ran around quite a bit and missed a few chances as well, with his head mostly. Again with the signal from Tsoteti and Co. Again, a similar delivery to the back post. This time, I think the Russians were aware of the threat. As we hit the halfway mark in the 2019 future champions Gauteng, a final, the first half that is. Possession-wise, it's the Russians are slightly edged more. It's a game of inches thus far. Definite foul on Kanelo Toteti.
Number 80.
Valbona, the Maverick.
He's not going to have it easy, Toteti. They know he's got the pace too.
And coming into back into live visuals, there was a shot that just rasped over the crossbar. Zazola Chobeni wins the ball. Gumete gives it to Chobeni! Big save from Poroskin. The blood chance still alive. Gumete pounces off the second, and Pirates get the first in the final. The happy people are happy. All in Sanji. Our smiles are plenty within the Nike Center, the vicinity. It's the local team that leads the Russians. Is this the first step in history, Mo?
Oh my, it's this man. Tabani Gumete puts them on the front foot. Tobane won the ball, intercepted it very well. Gumete was the one pushing for Tobane to score, but unlucky for Tobane. Brought back in with the header, but now Gumete's presence was felt because the keeper, Boriskin, could not get that one and went between his legs.
And just to pass the halfway mark in the 2019 final, it is Tabani Gumete in the first half, or the halfway point of the first half, who opens up the scoring as the Russians look to hit back via the left foot of Kasnedabak. He's already got a goal in this tournament against Kaizer Chiefs, so he'll be licking his lips at the opportunity to add more hurt and pain to South African hearts. The defending there from Toythulopdorf, who's normally quite adept at the clearing his lines and reading those second balls, was poor. Mo gave it back to a Pirates player, which was headed back into a dangerous area. Right place, right time. Gumete pounced. The rest, they say, is history.
Now, you've got Kabelo Mufukeng on the left-hand side. Also pushed into the box. Lance Makambi is also there to push into the box. So the additional of players gives them the advantage to win any second ball.
I mentioned Lance Makambi plays on this left-hand side for London Pirates. Really is a talented a player, can play in a full-back position as well as a winger position, given his propensity to deliver a very good service to the strikers up front, and the attackers. Missed ball gives an opportunity for Radnovov and Kotu quickly pounce and launch an attack of their own as Kasnahaba breezes past one. Kasnahaba and his favorite left foot. That's what he's always going to try to do. He almost did it.
Kozadep opens wide, breaks the offside trap, he tucks inside. Now he's going for goal. That was good curler, but not enough curler to actually challenge Freyzende.
Pirates defense can't switch off. For one bit, Vlad Shitov is looking at pouncing. He's yet to really get into the game. Shitov, that pass astray from Rabadanov. How crucial is getting the first goal in the final, Mo?
Very important. We were talking about them not so long ago, and we did say that they need to score at least to show that they want it more than Spartak Moscow. And yes, they profited from a counter, intercepting the ball in the middle, pushing, adding numbers in the box. Second ball, found Gumete, tapped it in. They need to keep it now.
Is that ball staying in? Yes, it did. Vlad Shitov's persistence pays off momentarily. The Russians deep in Pirates' own half. Approach the attacking third with that vicious curler as well, but much like the attempt from Kuznetsov, well wide as well.
Now, Orlando Pirates in the center. They need to at least cut the two players, Mutaliv and Kuznetsov, who are attacking in to take those shots and those killers. It's the fourth or fifth chance now. Eventually, they'll get one that'll challenge Blake, and he won't be able to reach for it. So intercept it, limit the tack-in and shots taken at goal.
Well, Simon Maringa will be really happy with the 20 minutes that have transpired here. His side have got a goal, yet to concede, and Blake Fraser has been underworked, really. It's the way you would want your final to go if you're dreaming about it the night before. It's the captain.
Not a pleasant one.
Yep.
But the captain was fouled.
Yeah, in Russian, I guess ref is ref, in whichever language.
Again, it's the captain. Something about him, denying your movement with the ball.
Robdanov has touched the ball more than any other player in red. Good little sneaky pass as they power on. As the referee says goal kick. Came off last of the Russian player. Oh yeah, wasn't happy with that one. If I read my Russian properly, coming off his lips there.
Pressure, and pressure is mounting.
Pressure and passion. Touched. It was Kabela Mofokeng, another one from the East Rand, the Tsakane born player, one of the younger members of the Pirates contingent, only at 16 years young. Burushkin, or how about that from Azola Chobeni? He read it so early, he made his movements way before even goalkeeper Burushkin attempted to release the ball. Player that's growing strength to strength. I think the natural talent is there. I think what's evolving quite rapidly and quite evidently is his understanding of the game and situational awareness.
The stage is gone through. He's advanced to the MDC side, and he used to start most of the line that is Azola Tobane. So we expect him to actually show a little bit of character more than the other players, because he's played more competitively than most of his teammates, hence he's wearing the armband.
7 minutes before the halftime break, there's a coach Vashkevich will be sitting uneasy on his seat as compared to Simon Maringa, as quickly just have a glimpse at his bench. He's always up on his toes, always up on his feet, very busy character on the touchline. Slightly more comfortable than his opposite number, edge of the boxes with the goal scorer Kumeta, who leaves it for Tsotetsi. He's always off balance.
It's an awkward position for him. But now we had Kumeta right next to him. Could have made a run. Heal it for him. Let him take the shot more than you wanting to be the hero of the day. Make the Para faithfuls happy. Give him a second goal maybe.
As the crowd look to get into it a bit more, that's something that's going to be really crucial for this young Orlando Pirates team if they are to hold on and make history and edge their names into the future champions Gauteng, a trophy alongside the likes of Athletic Mineiro, the serial winners, who won it more times than any other competitor in this competition. 4 times, the likes of Club Brugge, Athletic Madrid of Spain as well. That 12-man factor is going to be crucial, and that's something that for me has been quite evidently disappointing, how quiet sometimes the fans are when the teams need them.
Fans have nothing to do with what's happening in the field of play. They may be loyal because they're from Soweto, yes.
I think I tend to disagree on that one. The 12th-man factor spurs you on just that bit more extra. Makes you run harder, faster, and tackle for your life. Particularly if family and close friends are watching on.
For you to win the fence, give them something. Give them a Shibobo. Give them a Tamaya. Score a goal. Play convincingly. You are going to win that 12-man factor.
Again, I'll disagree. It's a bit of a give and take. We give you something. We give us something. When we need you, you step up. We step up when you need a bit of entertainment. Give and take. In an into. Stopped off. Turns his man clean. Utubane Gumete, or so dreams of the instance, came in rushing like a freight train. And well, his journey came to a stop when he made Totorio stop.
Now, the little ones.
Ball is deep.
There's no easy way of winning the ball here. Defense-wise, Orlando Pirates very strong. Mentally present, making sure that they intercept the win. Any first touch from the Russian players makes it difficult for them to connect with touches and passes.
Ball is in the box, and Blake Fraser flaps at flies and almost giving himself, or getting his team into trouble. That's the last thing the Pirates would need in a crunch game of this magnitude. The goalkeeping mistake has had his moments in the tournament. Young Blake Fraser comes out, punches. The ball does well, go out quite some distance, but the Russians come flooding forward. Numbers are plenty. Fraser again drops the ball on the edge of the box. It's Melnikov, blocked. Oh, straight to Blake Fraser. For a second or so, time stood still. Hearts and mouths for Blake Fraser's mum and all the Pirates fans in this vicinity. As for all money, it looked as if the Russians are going to get the equalizer.
Movement.
Oh, it looks as if outside the box there from Boroshkin. Oh, you know what's coming. The first yellow of the encounter. Pressure all around on the goalkeepers. Mostly, it seems.
Trying to match Fraser with the saves. Hasn't been part of the game that much. Boroshkin.
Yeah, you were saying, sorry?
Needs to stay calm. Still early. He went for the ball. Could have kicked it away.
Wow, that is, they couldn't get away with that one.
Players going out already, not in the frame of goal. Guide him out then. Put your body in front of him. You've got every right.
And if the officials missed it, the fans would have let him know. Borishkin enters the books of the referee. One of a couple of goalkeepers in the tournament to have been carded, yellow carded that is. Safa Gauteng goalkeeper Tabang Mayema being the other one, alongside Pavel Borishkin now. Two men over the ball. 4 Orlando Pirates in the box. Sotesi skips it. It's the left foot of Kumete. Straight into the Russian wall. Oh, that was cheaply given away there from Lance Makambi under no pressure. You want to be giving away such easy opportunities, particularly in a half that they've fought so well to take the lead in. Almost haven't allowed the Russians to play their game because of the aggression and the tempo of the final.
If you allow them to play their game, they'll dominate. They'll add structure, they'll add numbers in the opponent's half. For you to get out of that situation, it won't be easy.
I have a sneaky suspicion, Mo. Set pieces might just be crucial in this encounter, particularly for the Russians. If you look at Dostopyotov, he towels each and every of the 11 players that Pirates has. Nikita Glodman as well, arguably the second tallest player on the pitch. Mutalev towers over some of these Pirates players, so maybe a set piece could be a way in for them.
The most fouled player in the first half has been getting those fouls.
And that is that in the opening 30 minutes, no added time at all, as that half breezed by so quickly. Orlando Pirates acquitting themselves ever so well. A scrappy goal nonetheless was bundled into the back of the net by Tawani Kumet in the right place at the right time. Blake Frazen, he's had his mum well frozen at some points as he's chopped a ball a couple of times and a few nervy moments in between the sticks for Orlando Pirates. That man, Pavel Poroshkin, looking to match him as well, being booked for handling the ball outside the box. He sits in a yellow. He needs to be careful in the 30 minutes to follow. At the halftime break, it's Orlando Pirates who have 1 foot or 1 hand onto the trophy. It's 1-0 at halftime.
Testing RX1, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Testing,
1, 2, 3, 4,
testing,
5.
the red mic. RX5. What RX is this? This
I'm always
RX2.
on one. Presenters always- One goal in it in the 2019 final of future champions Gauteng. It's Spartak Moscow of Russia who are trailing by a single goal to nil against Ezimnyama Ngekani, courtesy of Tabani Gumede of Ezimnyama Ngekani. Well, a blistering start from Orlando Pirates. Confirmation of the first half stats. Would you look at that? They've enjoyed ball possession, just 55 for Spartak Moscow and just 45. Do you agree with those stats?
A little bit. That Spartak Moscow had an advantage of the ball, but not for that long. However, I would rather give it to Orlando Pirates. Should be twisted around. In the center of the park, we saw the ball being played mostly by Pirates, utilizing the width as well, sharing the ball on the sides, putting in those crosses, adding numbers, and Kumete profited from that thing wonderfully.
Also feel like Pirates have enjoyed the most possession. As it stands, they are in pole position to lift that title at the end of 60 minutes. You speak about Tabani Kumere. What a fantastic goal from Orlando Pirates. There were few attempts though about that man we've always singled out. That is Katle Hot or Dedi. He's been kept at bay, but he's still managing to go forward, Mo.
Kept at bay, forcing him out to stay out of the 18 area. It's a good thing. Nicely whipped in cross there. It was just away from the frame of goal, but had he made contact inside the box, it would have been a different story. I think the power there was just a little bit too much.
But I think Orlando Pirates are aware that now Katleho has been, is under threat, so they know they've got the options. If Katleho is not going to score the goals, then the likes of Tabani need to score.
Now, a goal properly scored. Why did they score this goal? Kumete won the ball, pushed it and forced the defenders to backpedal. Tobane needed to score, but in terms of height, he couldn't stretch very well. But Kumete stayed in the box and the ball was brought back to him. He did exceptionally well and he had that beautiful tap in.
Yeah, and this is how the Russians almost nicked in a goal there. Just unfortunate. Plenty of work from Orlando Pirates. Defensively, they haven't been that impressive, Mo.
No, they haven't been that impressive, but the only thing that I can give to FC Spartak Russia is that they are trying to get their chances. They are trying to convert. Now, they need to connect between Mutaliv, Vladislav, and Kozatov. The three of them, they are the most crucial players, but this man, Blake, is in the thick of things, trying to block each and every ball that they try to bring at him. But now he needs to calm down a little bit, calm his excitement. Yes, he did very well yesterday. He needs to relax.
It's a new ball game.
Yeah, it's a new, different ball game. They haven't scored goals in 2 games, so that is also going to be a problem for them. So they need to come to the party. A relaxed goalkeeper will definitely have a decent conversation with his defense, and they'll be able to defend against the Vlad Shitov that are up front there.
Well, en route to the final, Orlando Pirates have only scored 2 goals. Both these two teams have picked up 3 wins and losses respectively. This could be enough for Orlando Pirates. They just need to work on that defense.
I can safely say yes, it could be enough for them, but can they sustain it until the last minute? Normally teams would break maybe in the 50th minute, 60th minute, but they've got enough substitutes on the bench. They need to at least utilize, rotate the players. I can see Begitele is not in the party, so he needs to come to the party. Should it not happen for him in the next 10 minutes, they need to pull him out and utilize their wingers the way that they're doing, or bring Toteti inside the park so that he can take those long shots.
Yeah, but Toteti is the mark, is that one guy everyone is marking. I mean,
he's a trouble child. You know, when you have a trouble child, it's always a pressure that you need to close him down, make sure you don't give him the room to take the shots at goal, because he's got that element. If he doesn't take shots at goal, he takes you on and he goes deep into the box.
Yep, Orlando Pirates are leading by a 1-0 against Spartak Moscow of Russia. It's the 2019 final of the future champions Gauteng tournament.
And an expectant Soweto crowd urging and wishing Pirates on to complete the job in the next 30 minutes to follow. They lead via Tabani Kumete's poacher-esque finish. So after a bit of a melee in the box ensued, was his final touch that evaded Pavel Bereshkin as the ball went through his legs and into the back of the net. That is the difference maker at the resumption of the final of the 2019 future champions Gauteng. Alongside me, I'm joined by Motlogana and Gininda. The pitch side, you mentioned several key personnel that both coaches could look forward to now in terms of the state of the game and the game plan moving forward for Pirates and Moscow. Two different missions that they have to accomplish, but at the end, the same end goal.
You're right. Fair enough. Orlando Pirates at this stage, they need to control the tempo of the game. Control the tempo of the game the best way that you can. Don't give Spartak Moscow the room to dominate like they did. Disallow them the touches that they want. Disallow them the movements that they want. How do you do that? Intercept all the ball most of the time. Utilize the width very well, like they are doing right now. They're trying to bring Toteti back into what he does best, coming from the winger, cutting in, putting in those crosses. Now, you've got number 12, Spamandla. He's also going to have to do a lot of work as far as Spartak Moscow is concerned. Defense-wise.
You also identified Beki Krele in the midfield as someone potentially who may face the chop as the game continues. Maybe Coach Simon Marinho looking to bring on someone like Cian Moremi. Or even Hakeem Marks.
Nelson Ralenkwane needs to be potent as well. Kabelo Mufukeng. Tobane Kumete has been in the thick of things, alongside Azola Tobane.
I think for me it's going to be extremely important for Pirates to be switched on, particularly in set pieces. Set piece for Spartak Moscow. This is going to be a crucial moment in this final. From a dead ball position, not from that kind of delivery. Barely beat the first man, the shortest man at that, Azola Kyobeni. Was offside there on Aslan Mutelev. Threatened in the first half, but I think Vlad Shitov, that's the one man they want to get more and more involved in the game.
They're keeping him at bay, forcing him to go deep. Balls are not getting to him.
And apologies for the break in transmission. Technicians are feverishly working on it. It's still 1-0 to Orlando Pirates in the 2019 future champions Gauteng final. Vitomele Radio Pane on the 17 international, sprawled on the ground there. So he gets medical assistance. This is why.
A collusion there. Body weight. Could say it's 50-50. Could say there's an element of aggression from Lanches and Goff. The power there and the elbow. But he's a big man. He knows he's playing the final. To get up and fight it. He's a soldier. He's a sea rover. He's a barapag. A barapag al pelimo. Jog it off, boy.
Yeah, that's been your mantra the whole tournament. Person could be seriously injured, just jog it off. Wow, they make them as tough as they come in Swaziland. Stepan Milnikov holding off Azola Kyobeni's advances. Clipped in the ball as well, and it hits the back of the net. From those crosses I mentioned, that height advantage, and it's Rabinov who says, from Russia with love, we are equal. We are starting all over again, this time though at 1-1.
4 minutes into the game. 4 minutes into the game. Rabat Danov, unmarked. He wanted the ball, he wanted the goal. We saw his potential in the first half. Good ball played, but the marking. 2-on-1. Kumete was there. Look at the eyesight. pinpointing him, and the only thing he did was cushion it with the top of his head, and the Blake could not get to that one. Game on, player.
Game on indeed. Confirmation of the score in the 35th minute. 5 minutes the resumption of the second half. It is the Russians who strike quickly and strike fearsomely. I think you're doing them a bit of a service there. What a ball to eliminate 2 players, and that run in between the 2 centre backs was sublime. The touch was flicking it on far post. Blake Fraser, a beaten man, picking out the ball out of his net.
Staying on his line, Blake Fraser, maybe if it was a little bit 2-step forward, could have been a different story. Would have intercepted the bounce rather.
So Teti, will he keep the ball in? The far-born player uses his head. Will he keep his head in, crossing the ball? Well, he smashes it against Vadim Kromin, the skipper for Spartak Moscow, who I'm sure would have had plenty of words to say to his teammates, urging them on to get a reaction, which they adequately responded to so quickly, so efficiently.
An early goal in the second half. Good one to bring the team back. Now, the game is open. Game plan changes. Pirates couldn't keep the ball. Now they need to go at Spartak Moscow, try and get a second goal.
2 players that have been on corner duty since the start of the game. Lance Makambi, the deadly left foot. The ball bounces, doesn't beat the first man from 1-11 to another. As Stepan Melnikov was on defensive duty. An awkward looking landing between those 2 players here. Vlad Shitov.
Talk about a person who injures himself. Why would you jump for a ball and then give your back?
Yeah, there could be a nasty one there. The player, the people's team, as they're fondly called in their native Russia. Stopped there by Peggy Klele. Player born out of the East Rand as the ball is dug out. It was from a cross that the Russians hit back. Now Slevchikov, he thinks about it. Shot wide of Blake Fraser's left upright. Seemed to have landed awkwardly, Fraser, for a second there. See, yeah, he's wincing.
Yeah. Problem is, if you don't cut in, you don't close them down early, you don't close them down before they take shots at goal, they'll test the keeper. They'll get a second ball. They're very aggressive and always poaching players.
Cezana. Radio Pan's shot as well, blocked. It's a very good ball to find them. Peki Klele doing what he does best, cleaning after his attackers, stopping any attacks from getting beyond the first guard. There's Radio Pani onside. The answer is no. Far too eager. Simon Maringa barking order still. He must be a disappointed man at that easily now. Early they conceded the equalizer there, Mo.
Yeah, they could have done better defense-wise. Ball watching, there was 2-on-1. But Rabatanov wanted it more than the 2 defenders that couldn't contain him.
Gumet dispossesses Gloidman, but Gloidman says you ain't going nowhere, buddy. The story ends right here. Illegally so, though.
Gloidman, strong structure. Up against Gumete. Yes, Gumete had won the ball, poked it forward, tried to make that pace on Gloidman, but Gloidman put his hand just to obstruct him. Now, can Orlando Pirates pull one back here? Something from the training grounds, maybe? There's an angle there. Look at the fist pole exposed.
So Teti would like to tell you so. He goes to center. And it's a Russian head that gets on it. The first, Lance Makambi, can he get the seconds? It's the Russians that navigate themselves out of that potentially tricky situation. Azola Chobeni there in shot. It's been a hard-working midfield dynamo for Simon Maringe. Really trusts Azola Chobeni. The game that they did not start him, they absolutely struggled, Mo, in that encounter. In the game, though, that they didn't really have to win anyway. It was against the opponents on the day back in match day 2 against Highlands Park.
Oh, that's a straight foul. The ref spoiling the game. Come on, man.
It's a pressure situation. Radiopane. His pass intercepted by Semyov. Movement forward for Muteliev. But bounces away from there's a teammate. I've noticed every time there's a consecutive games on the pitch, the bounce becomes more uneven, more unpredictable. The pitch almost hardens as the day goes on.
Yep, it does. Too many games played on it. No rest, not a water pitch in between the sessions.
You played on AstroTurf quite a bit. What does watering the pitch do for it? You know, for playing conditions, or flew in there. Absolutely did not hold back at all. The tackle.
Injured himself in the midst of it.
Yeah. Commitment. Yeah.
Near the fence, streaming outside.
How are you injured, he says. Quick translation for non-Zulu speaking viewers. Atinjan.
That's Maradlujan. That means he must go on the floor. Now, a good first touch. The ball was going out, but the late tackle with the left foot, not an intended one, but as he was sliding through, that's when he caught the foot of Kozadov.
Slowly making his way towards the technical area where the fourth official is closest to, so he can come back on the pitch. I've seen a lot of throw-ins that have gone awry in this tournament. That was not one of them. Something that's been really disappointing. I think also you can throw in the set pieces, not consistently good enough. Radiopane's run is good. He leaves the ball behind him, but manages to retain possession. Soteti with the shot come cross. Kumete was lurking for the seconds. Asked the questions, why did you not put it closer to me? I made the run for you, sir.
Played behind the defense line.
Big diagonal switch to this near side in search of Lucas Nedabab. It's Trele. Out wide is Katlo Soteti. His movement found. Is he onside? Nope. I wonder, telltale sign. All the players sort of stood still and looked at the official. This near side to us, and but always a dead giveaway as to whether the player's onside or not.
And it is still there with Soteti. Now,
They got the whole family. There was just 2 of them yesterday.
get the best seat also.
It's the lady under the umbrella is the glasses. Is the mom of the Pirates goalkeeper, Blake Frazen. In fact, his father's from America.
I see the cool time is making good sense. It's the only thing that keeps you cool in this type of weather.
Fortunately, we never got any. I'm sure Grant Bissett, wherever he is enjoying a cool time.
He's probably drinking his school.
He says he doesn't do energy drinks. He's an Energizer Bunny himself now. The Energizer Bunny for Pirates is Soteti, who gives it to Radio Bunny. Pirates enough opportunity for a second. All blocked off the line. A shot leaving the right foot of Cesar. As the Russians look to turn defense into attack through Vladislav Shitov, who's outnumbered and all defended brilliant. Last man in defense. And they did extremely well there. So Pirates' senior team open their EBSA Premiership campaign, or reopen again after the international break against Mamelodi Sundowns at Lando Stadium. Radio Pane again with that blindside run. 17th time is found offside. Of course, Last game they played was in the CAF Champions League, a loss to Horoya.
The goal scoring opportunity. Come on, Sodeti. Takes them on. We knew that he could tuck in, passes his teammates very well, cut back in, but now Tobane. No, could have done better. Take it high. Not had it low. He already closed you down. Keepers anticipating that you are going to go down.
I think there was a great block there from Torstopilov, who was on the line. Just behind him as well was a teammate just at that bit of a protection.
2-on-1.
Mentioned earlier in terms of the Russian senior side, I'll tell you a bit more about how their season has unfolded in the Russian Premier League. 8 points clear of Zenit St. Petersburg, 20 games into the season. As we await this corner. Ball has a lot of fizz on it, and well attacked by the taller Doltuliev stop. I mentioned how good he is in the air. Indicates
Tolstopiato.
yeah, that one indicated with his eyes that perhaps he was infringed, or not quite sure what the signal was. As the Russians prepare a sub in the meantime away from our cameras, Daniel Grigirov is about to come on.
Now, ball position seems to be favoring Orlando Pirates this time around. It's 53 on 47. They've spent a couple of minutes in the opponent's half. Attempted a goal, 7 on 7 shots were there. Now, you've got 4 from Spartak Moscow and 2 from Orlando Pirates. They need to do more. Mapara.
Got 13 minutes remaining in this encounter. Game in a bit of a lull, more in the last couple of minutes. No team been able to get a stronghold in the game, dictate terms. I think the nerves perhaps as well at the back of the mind. No one wants to lose a final, getting so close as that sub is about to happen. Mutialev off, Grigorev on, midfielder for midfielder for coach Bashkevich. Took his time there. Young Mutaliev really ambled across. No hesitancy whatsoever. Wasn't hurried by the officials at that. Ball is central, allowed to bounce, and Boreshkin gratefully clutches it and releases it. Shit off with the movement. It's been well and truly martial law and a collision between Shitov and the official on that far side. Shitov looked at the official, said, "What are you doing, man?" Official just put up his flag and he said, "I'm doing my work." What do you mean?
Look, he was pushed by the player, by the center back. Now he takes out the assistant ref as well, so he's got every right. Buikanyo, why are you pushing on the kids?
We'll take it quickly. Fist in into the head of Siamov. Exactly 10 minutes now of this final. A reminder, should it end 1-1 at a full time and past additional time, we go straight to penalties. Pirates facing a second consecutive penalty shootout in the space of 24 hours.
I must give credit to Spartak Moscow fitness conditioner. They're acclimatized, fitness is still there. No element of exhaustion has been identified from them. They're still pushing.
Well, they've been here before, so they should have a good dossier, a good idea, good intel as to what sort of conditions and what sort of training they need to do under these particular conditions. Low, saved by a break Fraser from that attempted cross-come shot. Oh, yeah, he's a character as a young Blake Fraser. Celebrates every little triumph and victory as if he's won a World Cup, I tell you. Should have seen him yesterday saying to the Club Brugge players, it's my house, it's my house.
He took ownership of it. Penalties belonged to him. His intimidation worked to his advantage.
We're going to penalties again, Mo. Are you getting that a feeling in your very chiseled tummy?
That's if Orlando Pirates doesn't concede maybe 3 or 2 set pieces in the dangerous area. This is Spartak Moscow we're talking about.
Starting with this one, Mo. It's a good one. Becky Klele gets his head to it. Blake Fraser down for the count. How's Miss Fraser feeling? There's a quick look at the physiotherapist and or the medic, and he says, why are you taking your time? This is how he got injured.
The collision came from his teammate.
In the meantime, the two teams have taken opportunity to have a quick water break. Action has been thick and fast here in Soweto. It was Orlando Pirates that scored first as Blake Fraser's mom urges the man and urges the son back onto his feet and in the heat of the battle. Russians hitting back in the second half and ensuring that they level matters and they keep themselves in the final. This was the first. Gumete with the steal.
Gumete and Tobane playing so well. He could have passed Gumete Tobane when he couldn't score, but he went for a toe poke. Luckily, the ball deflected again. But now, Rabatanov, the cushioning of the ball. Beat Fraser, hands down. Could not reach for that one. It's a 1-1 game.
It was a really supremely well-guided header to the back post of Blake Fraser. As Fraser makes a mistake, smashes it into shootout to the amazement of the Soweto crowd. It was from this cross that they were able to get the equalizer. It was a cross where the Russians looked dangerous there, but they cleared the lines to the Sea Robbers. Oh, pass from Chobeni, floated it into the region of Katlotseteti, teasing the Russian defender. Tsoteti teases him with his footwork, silky footwork at that. Breezes past one, breezes past two, can't beat the tall Tortillo-Stoff. His leg is like a periscope. Yeah, where you going? He says. Kazadebab. Back to Kromem. Skipper. Well read there by Lance Makambi. We haven't been able to see Lance Makambi show his blistering pace and his ability to cross a football while at full tilt.
My only challenge with Toteti, he keeps the ball for too long. His teammates make it into the box, they push forward. He gets marked because he doesn't release the ball early. Now they have to come back and mark a counter-attack from Spartak Moscow. That needs to be taken into consideration. That's why there's a number of counter-attacks that Spartak Moscow gets, or breaks that they get from winning such balls.
Yeah, I think there's something Simon Maringa would probably iron out of his game, and coaches to follow after that. Coach Loftman at MDC level, I'm sure, will be keeping an eye out and would have gotten word of his ability. There he is. That's what he does best. Runs the players. There's a shot, just couldn't find the lurking Gumete. Again, all started from Soteti's drive and need and want to take on players and beat them. Sometimes, as my co-colleague mentioned, holds on to the ball a tad too long in space, and players get closed down.
He also gets to be 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 because the wingers have dropped down.
Five minutes and counting, or just under 5 minutes to the dreaded penalty shootout. Last year went down to penalties. Adon Haag losing out to Club Brugge. Will it be the same this year? Or one of these teams, will they get the job done in no more time? Oh, it's a big old battle. That's right in front of that a collection of Pirates fans are not happy, letting the Russian player know exactly what they think of that. And the goal scorer Rabadonov laying on the ground. I don't see too much wrong with that. Mind you, it's not me falling down on that hard astroturf. We'll be being told that Hakeem Marks is to replace Spamandam Cesar. Perhaps is just running low in terms of energy. The tank not as full as it was when the game started. Or it could be Simon Marinho already plotting for penalties. And, looking towards Hakeem Marks to be one of his key penalty takers.
Well, it's one of the things you must look into. I'm sure the keepers are already sizing the players, how they pass the ball, how they distribute the ball, so that they can perhaps be able to judge which direction they're going to take when it comes to penalties.
That actually hit Radio Banner's back. Balloon back up. The strong header from Mofokeng. Tsoteti keeps possession, and so does Tlele. Chobeni harried by the previously injured Rabadonov. Now as we edge closer to the conclusion of this year's tournament, I'd like to ask you, I've waited exactly about 3 minutes or so before the end of the tournament. Some of your highlights. One standout moment for you, a couple of them. I'm sure there are plenty. Probably Grant Bissett's hairstyle one.
Let me tell you, the number of goals scored in this tournament, for me, they stand out. The age group that is playing in this tournament, that stands out on its own. The level of professionalism displayed by these youngsters has to stand out. Overall, I'm a happy guest.
I have two standout moments for me. One that happened earlier this moment with a young elderly woman who brought a couple of grandchildren to the ground. I'll tell you more to that as Tsoteti looks to grind. Russian outfit Moscow to the ground. Turn from Radio Pano, good block. And the picker, Russian centre forward, the centre back as Azola Chabani couldn't add the seconds there. Tsoteti, when he wants you, can't stop him. As that sub is about to happen for Paris. Famangam Cezana to be replaced by Hakeem Marks. Thumbs up from Uitumelo Radiopane.
Good cover by Vladisnov. He's done all the work. Subtracted from him. Cuts it back. Oh my. What's with the rush, Ralinkwane? What's with the rush? It's the second time around. No, Tobane could not connect very well.
It's confirmation of that sub. The last minute or so of the game. Hakeem Marks is to look to be the difference maker. Yellow card in the meantime. And there's Bikanya Sokhotong. Man from Rustenburg becomes only the second player in the final to get booked after goalkeeper Pavel Borishkin.
Now, we spoke of set pieces in dangerous areas. It's the last minute of the game. Spartak Moscow very competitive with high balls.
He's saying set pieces might just be crucial for the Russians. Not if you deliver that after all that hype. Oh, shakes all around of the head in the commentary box. We still remain at 1-1.
Commentators curse.
Yeah, I think you put the markers on them. Let's go north. Troveni works well, but Levchenkov doesn't want to quit. Oh, lovely footwork there. Bekikele takes a tumble and stops the Russian attack from being any serious. Boreskin off his line. Wow, off his line. Now Ken Kumete. Oh. The crowd were willing and urging him on to have a go from that far out. I think he rushed it. He's never in control of that shot as Radiopane salvages or looks to salvage the situation. It was too obvious what he wanted to do there. To say, is that a disappointing tournament, Butumela Radiopane? Plenty of endeavor, plenty of work ethic, but just coming a bit short in terms of consistent quality when the team have needed him most. But he remains to become a starter for Simon Maring. He started the competition and will finish the competition as Pirates is number 9 by the looks of it. No space for the Russians via Krigirov. He's fresh up against Lance Makambi. Oh, Hakim Marks, he's also fresh, showing that he's not gonna let the Russians have their way. Pick up the baton from where Samandam Sezana left it. Man, he replaced. He called his keeper, side netting. Nothing but a goal kick. I think we're starting to wrap our heads around the lottery of penalties, Mo.
Not in the best spirit that as far as Blake is concerned compared to what he was yesterday. What does it mean now that they're going for penalties? Will he have the drive? Will he have the adrenaline that we saw yesterday?
Well, we're about to find out, because both teams couldn't find a difference in between the allotted 60 minutes. It was Orlando Pirates through Tavani Kumete who punted it over for the opening goal of the game. But the Russians hit back at the start of the second half, 5 minutes into the second half at that. Rabadonov on the end of a deliciously weighted cross. It was 1-1, and it is 1-1. It shall remain at full time as we look forward and cast our eyes to the dreaded penalty shootout. The second penalty shootout for Orlando Pirates, 2 games running. And the tail of the tape, as I mentioned, was the home team, the home favorites, who started it, winning the ball deep in midfield. Tobeni and Kumete combination, Mo.
Interception by Tobeni. A good finish by Kumete, pushing all the way in and knowing that he needs to support his teammate Tobeni. Poorly cleared ball, brought back into the game, and Kumete profited from that.
Radiopane with the assist there. Yeah, what a cross from the right-hand side onto the head of Rabadonov, who expected that quality and was the most alert as he jumped in between 2 players to just glide the ball past a beaten Blake Frazen to equalize it.
The flight of that ball.
And the balance of play, Spartak Moscow had more of the ball and were more creative in their attacking third, hence they're outnumbering the shots on target against Orlando Pirates. But both teams were able to get at least a goal, as the midfield was arguably the most hotly contested between Kumete, Klele, Rabadonov, Melnikov and co. But that is done. It's down now to the penalty takers, Mo. Can Pirates get their list right to date?
Up against a very aggressive team, powerful when they take those balls. We're not going to pick a spot that easily. They're most likely going to have power behind the ball, directed goal. Frenzen would have to be very alert, doesn't have to move when they haven't made contact with the ball. The list has to be swapped this time around. We don't need that drama.
Here's a question for you. How do you tell which side the penalty taker is going to take, being a former keeper yourself?
Look, the number of steps you take back. Let's listen to this.
May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with us. More. Hey, come boys.
Wow, that's a new one. Never heard that one.
More.
Great work there by audio, guys.
Strong, huh?
Yeah, you were saying in terms of reading the direction of the penalty.
Now, you've got to count the number of steps taken by the player who's going to take a penalty back. You've got to look at the footstep that is going to start to move with. Obviously, he's going to start with the one that he's going to take with. But there's always dummy penalty takers. So as a keeper, you just need to wait until they make contact with the ball and then choose your direction or follow where the ball is going. Most keepers most likely going to dive before they make contact with the ball.
We've seen some interesting techniques developing over the years, a la Eden Hazard, a la Jorginho of Chelsea with a little skip. Pogba with the longest run-up you'll ever take can make 2 sandwiches in between the run-up and still get there before he strikes the ball. All sort of ways to try and settle the goalkeepers, as you mentioned, that have their own little ways of reading where the penalty taker will be going. Or you could do it like the golden old days. A la Jerus Kosana, just smash it. If the keeper gets a touch while his hand is burnt or it's gonna hurt. Boom. We call it here in South Africa.
Remember, they used to play with kickoff then. So
it was hard balls even, yeah.
The list has been handed out. So we can already know who's going to take.
We would hope that the list has been adequately perused through.
Azola Toban is going to open the penalty.
Interestingly, what will the change of sides do for Orlando Pirates? It was the other side of the pitch yesterday, which was the most luckiest for them.
Tossing off a con.
Yeah. First up is the Russians, Mo Levchikov, to take the first penalty in the 2019 Future Champions final. Down to penalties, Blake Fraser deep in thought. Less or more calm than he was yesterday, but still intense edge on all over his face, intensity that is.
I'm not convinced by his energy today.
Yeah, it's a bit off there. I could even feed it from here. And perhaps he wasn't as confident as yesterday. Which is strange because he did well in intimidating some of the Club Brugge players. Ref's just checking if it's a right penalty taker there.
He has to. We don't need to stop and go this time around. It affects the players mentally.
Let's see if Fraser will try anything to Frezzo. Levchenkov, easy. What a cool, composed first penalty kick in a high-pressure situation. That's how you want your player to take your penalty.
Gone the opposite direction. Went before the ball was even taken. That's what I said earlier on. Sometimes keepers would just dive before the penalty taker makes contact with the ball.
One step bang. It's the captain of Orlando Pirates to take their first and get them going in the 2019 Future Champions Gauteng penalty shootout. Trophies at stake. It's the man from Windmill. Easy run up and an easy finish as well. Unnerving from Azola Chobeni. Anything you can do, I can do as well. Under 17 international says.
The power on the ball. The direction. Opposite way again. Keeper had no chance. That is Boriskin up against this young man, Azola Tobane. Led by example. Now the team needs to follow suit.
Leading from the front, the skipper. Man, next up is Stepan Melnikov. Intensity edged all over his face. Frazen looks to make himself big. Melnikov strides up. Frazen stops it. Oh, he points to the heavens and he says, divine intervention. I think not. It's Blake Frazen. The fans go wild on the far side. Clearly, Blake Frazen groupies. Why not?
Strong hands.
Wasn't the best of penalties, let's be honest.
I saw it coming.
Yeah.
The happiest man right now, Augusto Parashos. He's the happiest man.
Borishkin up against Lance Makambi. We've seen one number 11 miss. Will this be lucky number 11 for Pirates? Sweetly struck. No chance for Borishkin. Pirates with the advantage, Mo.
It's a high and low. He's been beaten twice already. Follow up. Nothing.
No chance.
There is no chance you are going to reach for that one. Now you must give credit to the power that is put behind the ball.
Now it's Lucas Hedabab. The pressure must be mounting on his young shoulders after his teammate Melnikov missed the last penalty for Spartak Moscow. Frazen playing mind games. It's worked for him. Oh, listen here. Says you next. Frazen against Gazdabab. Frazen, went the right side, but too much power, too precise from the midfielder Gazdabab. And claps on. His goalkeeper Parishkin says, come on, we're still in it.
Oh, the power on it. Yes, he went the right direction. He always changes direction after the second penalty. Good step, but sometimes just force a punch.
Now, Katleho Tsoteti, how many times have we seen star players in a tournament miss crucial penalties in big tournaments? Roberto Baggio, remember him? Katleho Tsoteti, one step, bang! Pirates, 3-3. Lovely celebration at that. Pressure on Spartak Moscow.
Pressure's mounting. He gave it height. Keeper went the right direction, but the height could not reach for it. And the pressure behind the ball, decisive. Good penalties thus far, should we say?
Here we go. Look at that. Don't know how good the Russian's English is. As it says, you miss. You know what you miss is in Russian, Mo? You world travel guy?
Oh no. I don't know this one.
It's Rabadonov. Already has a goal in this encounter. That should add more drama and more butterflies to his stomach, with the ref saying the ball is not on the penalty spot. Frazen taking the liberty to just tell him exactly what's going to happen. Rabadonov with a straight approach, plastered passer. Blake Frazen, who went the same side, guessed right, but again, like the penalty from Melnikov, or rather from Gazdabab, it was low to his right and struck with too much power.
Yep. Tried to sell it, dummy, but Blank was just standing there, did not make a move. You know, the pressure's on you, young man. You came on. Can you beat this man?
What does his body language say? It's always in the eyes. Nothing but intent for the ball. Hakeem Marks came on off the bench for exactly this. It's Hakeem Marks! Oh, side foot power. Pirates one penalty away from winning the 2019 future champions Gauteng trophy. Simon Maringa's first. Pirates is first. Spartak Moscow need to score this one to keep the pressure on the next Pirates penalty take up.
The power on it. But no, I have a feeling we're gonna go for silent death.
You hear that say Blake, 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 Blake. He's taking it in, or he's having A whale of a time as Blake Fraser. I'm sure have this game recorded.
Feel like-
Play it over and over, I tell you.
You feel like you're in a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
You're calling your name.
WWE, yeah. WrestleMania 21. But in fact, it's 2019 future champions Gauteng. Some of the Russians players can't bear to look as one South African fan says, go back to Russia. Krikirov, saved, oh no! I thought Blake Fraser rather, had got it, both hands to it, but too much power on it. The Russians still in the penalty shootout. Oh, that was close.
Try and close your hands, Blake. Punch it away. You don't have to save it. Just punch the ball away. You could have been a hero, but you still are. You're still in the game, still in the lead. Can this man? But my bet is that we're going for
Becky Kele with the last penalty.
It's not Becky Kele. It's
In fact, I
Kumete.
beg your pardon, Tawani Kumete. I'm getting carried away in here. Kumete, the goal scorer, it was his goal that got them to this very point. Will it be his penalty that wins them the 2019? Oh no, it's not. He misses. Future champions Gauteng trophy still up for grabs. Kumete, as Mo says, I called it. Oh, football will kill you dead. As one coach once famously said,
Sometimes you bring them back in the game, you give them the lead. Come to penalties. This man, Boriskin, oh my, oh my, oh my, stood for the last penalty. Ah, man, oh man, oh man. There's nothing you can do. Stay strong, young man.
tears, inconsolable. There's Tawani Kumete.
Now, game on.
Game on. Over to you, Fraser.
Against
Over to you.
Boriskin. I did say, you're going for silent deaths.
It's a Tortorius Stoff, in fact, Mo. A big defender. Hands on hips. Short run up. What does the defender have? Oh, same side.
See,
Same side. 3 of the Russians' last penalties have all went to the same side. And Fraser has went that side, but somehow the ball has beaten him, went under his knee.
but now you go to that direction. How are you going to save the ball when you want to use your legs?
Yeah, that's
you want
true.
to
Wasn't
use
great
your hands.
technique. Yeah, you're right.
I think he's out of the game now.
Yeah, no.
Switched off.
I think you're right to that one. Had he gone with a full stretch, would have been an easy save.
No. Orlando Pirates can't seem to send a player to go take this one. No. Look who's going.
Becky Kele.
You know the song that by DJ Somebody? There's a part where it says, Begi Kele, go Pascan Twara. Oh my, oh my, oh
He's
my,
probably
oh
saying that to
my.
Boriskin. Boriskin Kopaskan Swara.
Ah, when a song comes to life in football, he's a worried man.
Yeah, he looks really worried.
Boris Guinness says, come on, it's my turn to
In
go.
Russian.
Yeah?
It's all happening here in Nike Center. Will it be the man who shares a name with the police minister, Becky Kele, who administers the law? Or will it be Pavel Bereshkin, who says the Kremlin says no? It's Kele. Easy, peasy, straight down the middle. Augusto Palacios like that.
What was with that one? Harpegi Kele, Kupas Kanswara. Nah, I'm Twar. Oh,
Made that look so easy.
the keeper was still shuffling side to side, and this man profited from it.
So it's the captain for Spartak Moscow, carries the ball in one hand and carries the hopes of his teammates in the other. It's Kromin. Fans getting well and truly involved. Shouting keeper, as I'm sure you can pick up. Which side will Kromin go? The last 3 have went right, bottom right. He's most likely going to go bottom left. No, he holds the same side again. 4 penalties. All same side. I cannot believe it. Blake Fraser thinking, what do I need to do to get a hand on this ball? Anything will do.
See, when you're a keeper, you count to 5 penalties that will be done. I need to save 1 or 2 to keep my team in the game. Now he's run out of options. He goes whichever direction the ball goes. He leaves late. He leaves the line late. Now, Boriskin showing some character there. Now he's got the composure to even throw the ball at the opponent and say, "Come on, my man."
Confidence, confidence. Kabale Mufokeng
No,
against Borishkin.
this is a save.
You calling him?
This is a
You
save.
calling it for Borishkin to save it? Or is it Mufokeng to put it away? Mufokeng says, no, signore.
What is Boriskin doing? Hippity hopping. I don't know where you get these mambo happy feet. He's becoming a penguin in the goalpost. What's going on, Boriskin?
Hippity hopping, that's gotta be a new one for you.
Hippity hopping like a mambo happy feet. You know, penguins. Now, when are you going to concentrate on the ball? This man gives a blow-by-blow punch. 1, 2, 3, jabbed him.
To take it up next is the striker Vlad Shitov, who I'm amazed is not one of the first names on a penalty kickers list, such as his finishing ability. Or does he crack under pressure? That's why Vlad Shitov cracks under pressure. And somehow, wait a minute, what just happened? Blake Fraser saved the ball, and somehow the ball rolled back into the net while he was celebrating. I've only seen
It's
this.
a goal.
I've only seen this on a YouTube clip, Smoke. It's just happened in real life. Have a look at this. Ball balloons up in the
my.
sky. Blake Fraser celebrates, points, fingers in the air. Ball bounces, says you celebrate too early.
Blake Fraser.
Absolutely wow.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Drama. Nike Center. Ah.
When the luck is with you, the luck is with you.
You know when they say touch the sky, you know that song that goes touch the sky? That's what Blake Fraser did.
Wow.
Come on, little
Wow.
man.
Wow.
It's a goal.
Borishkin still in disbelief, asking, am I taking it next? The crowd here in Soweto in utter disbelief. Everybody on tenterhooks, us in commentary, are still picking our jaws off the floor there. Grant Bissett's gone a few more shades of red.
He's filming
You're
behind
looking a
us.
bit more ginger than usual. And
It's
I'm
hot
looking more
in this
chubbier
commentary
than
booth.
It's hot in here. Wow. I kid you not, I've only ever seen that on YouTube clips. As my colleague says, that's definitely making it onto the socials.
Yep.
It's Boikanyo Sekhotlong.
Drama.
What will that have done to his psyche? The Sekhotlong, easy. Keeper read it, but well put away to the dismay of the Russians. We still continue. 7 penalties apiece. And we're
Jenny.
still yet to get a conclusive winner.
Journey continues. Now, there's less pressure on the penalty taken of late now. The 7th ones. Keepers could have saved them. They went to the right direction. But there's just not that strong arm, that character to say, I'm going for this ball all the way out.
It's the right back, Samirmov. Now we definitely to the players who did not want to take penalties. Samayov already seen his teammates penalty saved and then ricocheted back into the net. It's Samov. Oh, poor penalty. Poor penalty. Blake Fraser makes sure this time around. And with a similar celebration than the one he had when he saved it, or he thought he had saved the penalty. This time it worked out for him. That was poor from Samov though.
Oh. Poor. A clear penalty. Blake knew where to go.
Yeah, Fraser says, have some of this, Samov.
Now he saw some more of Samov on the left-hand side. Oh,
Now,
the hero.
Buitumelo Radiopani. He's had a iffy tournament at best. He came in with a big name on his back due to what he did in qualification. Bagged a number of goals. It will not come much bigger than this.
The facial expression doesn't convince me.
I didn't even get to see his face. Radiopani circumspect in his approach. The under-17 international wins it for Orlando Pirates in the most of dramatic fashions. Saman Maringe, inconsolable. Blake Fraser feeling like a football god. Oh, I've never seen drama at this level. Madness at pitchside. As the fans here in Soweto flood the pitch. Simon Maringe in tears. It means something to the Zimbabwean, his second year in charge of this under-17 team. And somehow they survive penalties, not once, but twice, Mo.
Oh my! Ah, it's victory.
The winning penalty that will go down in history. With Tumelo Radio Pane, with a penalty that sees Orlando Pirates being crowned the first South African side ever to get their hands on the future champions Gauteng trophy for Ruskin Kirongi. But look on, you at pitchside away from the highlights. It's absolutely chaos at pitchside.
They deserved it. They fought. They wanted it so bad. Went to penalties. Took decisive penalties. It was unfortunate with that ball with Blake Frenzen. But this man stands out for me. Character, courage, not giving up. Making sure that he gets his teammates back into the game.
Some of the security personnel just looking to help clear the crowd as Simon Maringe is hoisted up in the air by his Pirates players. Still in tears, still highly emotional as a Zimbabwean. Blake Fraser's mom says, "That's my son." Very proud mom. Fortunately, the dad couldn't be here today, from the looks of it. Simon Maringe, I'm sure, will be getting a call from his relatives to congratulate him. Perhaps a young call from Alvin Khoza, the Iron Duke himself. Disbelief. That's the beauty of football. Such an emotive sport, Mo. Make you angry, make you cry, make you smile and make you frown, all in the space of seconds. Blake Fraser with his family. I'm sure he's gonna get to sleep past his a curfew tonight. And from Randburg, in my neighborhood, maybe I'll bump into him on that side. It's still absolute chaotic scenes at pitchside as the trophy and medals are being readied. As I see Simon Maringe being hauled closer to the interviewing section, where he used to have the post-match thoughts with Lindiwe Dube. That's if he can compose himself. Good luck, Lindiwe, trying to get something out of Simon Maringe. Someone get him a tissue, man. Yeah, get yourself composed, Simon. You just won it. You just made history. Just made history.
So much to our commentators. For the first time in the history of future champions Gauteng, an African side will lift this title. This is after Orlando Pirates beat Spartak Moscow in the penalty. An emotional Coach Simon joins us now. Coach, I can imagine the emotions that are going through your mind right now.
I mean, it's a roller coaster football. Last week we were crying because we lost to Bidvest in the final Gauteng Cup, and today we come and this happens. It's just, I can't even explain it.
It means so much to you, doesn't it?
It's not just me. I mean, when you look at the boys, the amount of work they've put in the last month, I couldn't tell you. I mean, we've trained maybe double sessions sometimes, and especially the boy that scored the last penalty. One of the best strikers in the country at that level. He's had a tough tournament. He struggled with fatigue. He's come. He's been booed a couple of times. For him to go on and do that, it's going to change his life. It's just, it's amazing.
We had drama in yesterday's penalty shootout. We had more drama today with Blake just there at the end. Just talk us through that.
Well, we all know Blake is a bit of a bit of a case, but he did very well in the penalties, and it's part of his character. He's got to keep that. It helps him a lot, and he's done very well for us.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, a massive congratulations to Orlando Pirates, South Africa, and the African continent at large, as they will be lifting the future champions Gauteng 2019 title. What a way to do it. Just making history here at the Nike Football Training Center. We will be joining our commentary team now for all the presentation.
Thank you, Bubbles. Don't know how Simon Maringa got through that one, as he mentioned. Just highlighting a few players that deserve a special mention. He said Blake Fraser, well, he's a special case, to quote him. He said Buitumedo Radiopane, exactly what I was saying throughout commentary mode, has had a tough tournament. For him to step up and score the winning penalty after what's transpired before that speaks volumes of the man. I'm sure more will be coming from him in years to come.
Takes a lot of courage, character. Well done to Zimnyama and Kani. They fought through and through. The coach says they've lost against Wits in the qualifiers. But look at them now. They're the champions of future champs. What a good way to just end it.
What a way to win it. Marks Hakim as well came off the bench. The man with the shirt off was putting it on now. He mustn't have been difficult, easy for him. Let's have a listen to this.
Let's pray. Hey, to stand again. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with us.
And the sound of victory, this is what it sounds like.
No one can ever take it away from you. Okay, yes, thank you from me for fighting for me. Everything you've given, all the time, all the fights we've had, today they pay off. You will never be the same again. Thank you.
You will never be the same again, says Simon Maringe. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Said a lot without saying much.
Hasn't been easy. Coach says they've had fights, they've gone through a lot, but today they come out victorious, a different side.
Gusto Palacio must be a really proud man as well, given the fact that he was here a couple of years ago leading this under-17 or Pirates' under-17 side and didn't win it. Must be a full circle moment for him as well, as some of the prizes are being given out to the winners. So the man has won himself a nice trip to Spain for 5 days and 4 nights. Take us with you, man. Nice prize there from the organizers.
Remember, they run programs behind the scenes to identify a number of players that they would perhaps pick to travel to Spain for 5 days to try out on a couple of teams that side. So these are the athletes, and that's future player. I think that is a coach more than a player. And the 3 players are the identified ones with the programs. Remember when the program was running on Field B, there used to be coaches and young players that have been playing around there.
Now, Mo, just handing out some of the medals is Mr. Pilasena Muvevi of the Gauteng Provincial Government, Job Nkunu of Safa Gauteng. He's the present. Noni Kubek of Gauteng Tourism as well, and Phil Mukhodi of GCI. Up next, it should be the bronze medal winners. Club Brugge. I saw them around here. Yep. Seemed to as if they've
right
already
behind
got
us.
it. Yep, they're right in front of us, you mean? Yeah, it's been a long old tournament, Mo. Understand? You're tired now. You are old after all. Yeah, and I think Club Brugge haven't got the memo yet that they're supposed to get trophies. Yeah, we just signaled to them. Well, the Russians just beating them to it. They're the silver medalists. The medals being handed out by Jabum Kunu of Safa Gauteng and Ms. Noni Kubeka of Gauteng Tourism, among many others there. Disappointed. What have you made of the Spartak Moscow outfit this year? They started their tournament with a defeat against Highlands Park, and well, they ended up in the final. They got themselves together and played really good tournament football. Just wasn't to be in the end for them.
Proper fighters, true soldiers of the game, came in, brought a decent squad, competitive. They were knocked out a couple years in the semi-finals last year. They were number 8 the other year, number 4 rather.
Last year, yep.
Now, they getting a silverware. It's a well-deserved award.
Yeah, there's improvement there from 4th to 2nd in the space of a year. That's improvement for the coach Veshkevich. I'm sure that's what he'll be telling his players on the bus and on the plane back home. And some of the technical staff receiving the medals. The last man to get it is Veshkevich, who I'm sure would be taking a minimalist approach in terms of saying his thank yous. Doesn't speak much English, but he does try. Maybe will they allow the Club Brugge players now to finally get their medals? Yes or no? Or is it going down to Pirates? Oh yeah, the Belgians are finally gonna get their chance to get their medals. Better late than never, I guess.
Couldn't see them earlier on.
Yeah. Oh man, I just caught the sight of the Spartak Moscow goalkeeper Borishkin, Pavel Borishkin. He looks like he's a broken man. Disappointment etched all over his face. Joe Hart's look-alike. His heart broken.
Well, I see what you did there.
Yeah, thank you. And for Club Brugge, Martin Martins came in this tournament as the defending champions, a fresh-faced team, much changed team from the one that won the 2018 edition. The likes of Mfundu, the likes of Mbangula, Van Remst, names that pop up at you, perhaps will be the future stars of one of Belgium's most successful outfits. As Kamara as well got a run out today.
Bangula is also.
Erne Engels as well, the midfielder. Yeah, plenty of stars. Martin Martins, one of my favorite coaches at this particular level. Only manages a bronze place finish in 2019. So perhaps maybe for them just a few steps back. But sometimes you need to destroy in order to build. The great saying goes.
No. The champions.
El Campeones.
In their hometown.
Dibozo.
Maparapara.
Bagajuju.
It's up the road from their home.
Mo.
Sea robbers.
A team that makes people happy.
Happy people. Mabachabula Bantu.
Bachawulile namhlanje, very happy. History being made. The first up, very adequately. It's a Blake Fraser, the penalty hero, not once but twice. Big smiles on the 16-year-old's face. All congratulated. And like so, Buikanya Sukhotlong, whose penalty was crucial to the cause as well. Some of the players that didn't get to participate, Tulani Mgoma there, who wears the number 4 jersey. Beki Kele, definitely remember his name, won't forget it in a hurry. And arguably one of Pirates' best players. You heard that there from one of the officials there saying he got a good future. I think he was directing it to Katla Otsoteti. He's been that good. Wonder if we'll see him step up perhaps and get a shot at the multi-choice Disky Shield, which kicks off tomorrow in Toyando. In fact, today continues tomorrow. It's been really broadcast on your World of Champions. Yeah, Prof looks to have mixed up some of the medals there.
Ends up giving him 2.
Getting himself tangled up. You hear some of the officials say, hey, the bob cuts. Very interesting hairstyles, he says. I wonder if there wasn't Prof himself saying, hey, Lighty, where did you get that haircut from?
Yep. You gotta love soccer players.
Oh, you
hairstyles,
gotta love
man.
their hairstyles. James McFarland wins hands down the hairstyle of the tournament, the Chiefs player.
It's the mushroom.
That's the mushroom, the
The
blonde mushroom.
The
Is that?
Smurf.
Oh. Nazola Chobeni will be a young man beaming with pride. His first major honors at this level, or this particular competition. He's an under-17 fully fledged international, so this should put him in good stead for future battles as well in the international arena. Even played men from Russia, played men from Belgium, played men from India as well. And Azola Chobeni, the man from Windmill, takes the trophy to his soldiers and he says, gents, enjoy the moment. The 2019 future champions Gauteng go to Orlando Pirates as they make history. For the first time, a South African side gets to do exactly that. And that's lift the trophy high up into the sky and say, we are champions, we are champions. And what a tournament it's been. Started on Monday and finished on a Saturday. And just like that, it's all ended. Dreams made, nightmares created, friendships forged, grudges also festering, I guess. Up the box.
Now, I'm proud of myself. I called it.
Oh,
When
you
you
did?
started the tournament,
No, you
said
did?
Orlando Pirates.
Is it Pirates?
Most likely going to be in the
I
final.
remember you saying Brugge.
Ah,
Okay.
my man. Selling me out.
I called the Russians to win it. I genuinely called the Russians to win it, but Orlando Pirates well played tournament football. When it most accounted in the crunch stages in the semi-final, they kept their nerve in this penalty shootout, and then they kept it some more in the final. As we wrap off the proceedings here at the Nike Center in Soweto, it's been one hell of a tournament. Well done to the organizers and all those concerned. We thank you very much for your time, efforts, and to the players and technical staff of the various teams. We wish you safe trips back home to your various homesteads. And I'll see you again next year.